evoking something within you, a presence that's within you. You know, all your organs, everything that you are, and spiritually is a presence, which spiritually we talked about being more in the void level. But if you bring your thought concept into it, then when a person takes your reaction to the fight, you bring too much thought concept into it instead of just seeing it and taking it in. How do you do that? You got to be present. You have to be there. You know what I mean? So I'm not where you are. I'm here seeing it and coming at you. So when you do your core, it brings back what you are, you know, for that situation. It triggers your overall combat being. So when you're here, you have trust and faith in that core and that presence that's there, and it allows you to react on what's happening. But if you think, and you're thinking, oh, you know, most people think, oh, I've been doing the martial arts for this many years, or I've been doing a lot of full contact fighting, or I'm really tough in the ring, and this, that, and the other thing, and you automatically bring your ego into it. You're going, in real combat, that's not going to work, you know, because then you're bringing all these variables. I should be good enough, but you're not really acting on your core. So you take that one segment where Bruce Lee was talking, point your finger to the moon, but don't concentrate on the finger, or you miss all that heavenly glory. There you go, right? And where the kid was throwing the kicks at him, he's saying emotional content. Now, and then he said, and then the kid threw another kick, and he said, I said emotional content, not anger, right? And then when he finally threw it from his core, you know, Mr. Lee's technique, whatever it was, you know, whatever he did, worked for him. The same technique may not work for you. You know, you need to find your own technique. So, you know, you need to create your mythology. You know, you need to become, you need to discover. So every time you go to your core, when somebody's in front, you need to trust that presence, that part. And the more you practice that, the more it's always present with you. So when somebody stands in front of you, all of a sudden you walk into your house and somebody looks at you and they're coming at you with a knife. You know, you can't have all these thought concepts. You have to go, you core, and from there, it brings all the material, all that knowledge instinctively to the forefront. You know, a snake doesn't think when it strikes, it just strikes. You know? So it goes, it curls up, it sees you, and it strikes. It's not saying, okay, I'm going to turn, angle my teeth this way, come over here, and I'm going to try to bite him on the big toe. No, that's not going to work. I'm going to try to get him right on that nerve by his neck. You know, he's not thinking that way. He just strikes. An animal is just sees it. You got like a tiger. It sees it. It strikes. A bear. It strikes. You know, they do what they do instinctively. You know, because they're coming from their own center. You need to come from your own center. So every time you core, it triggers a overall martial thought pattern. It becomes like muscle memory, you know, but it's coming from your center. You're not thinking about the guy even coming at you with the knife. You're seeing it, it's coming, you core it down, and that's where the presence comes from. It's the same in prayer. You know, people pray. When they pray for something that's out there. When you pray internally. You pray from inside. The answers come from within, not from somewhere out there. They come from you, because that's the interconnectedness. The man who's coming at you with the knife, you're connected to him as well. There's your lesson. You know, win or lose, you got a lesson. You know, you're either moving on or he's moving on. You know, and that's where all that core comes in. So it acts as a trigger, not a thought concept where you're sitting there and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to step here, I'm going to do this. And the ego comes in. I've been doing Kung Fu for 25 years, you know, I shouldn't lose. You've already lost. You know, because each person fights differently and moves differently. You know? So there's the point. You know, it's really, martial art, there's no great martial art. It's you creating that art within yourself. Taking any art, whether it's karate, wrestling, boxing, jiu-jitsu, whatever it may be, and making it your own. And that's from your core expression. So when you get into real life combat, your core triggers, and that's where you express from. But if you express from your brain, you know, then you're putting too much noise in. And that's what I call material noise. And next Sunday we'll get together and we'll talk about 2012, and we'll talk about you're going to get an awful lot from that. When I was having a conversation with somebody that's, just got, was always in problems in jail, we talked about destructive path, creative consciousness, and 2012. And it's all
You're not going to talk about the end of the world, are you?
And, well, no, I'm not going to talk about anything like that now. You'll see when we have that discussion.
Good.
But the same thing here. You create coming from your own center. That's it, man. So that's always, so you walk in, woof, that always brings you into the moment. But once you put your creative thinking into it, you're losing the expression of what you are, you see? And that's what we were talking about earlier. Come on, let's go get something to eat, man.